A Hollywood legal battle heads to a New York City courtroom today with a hearing on the lawsuit between actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The U.S. District Judge in the case is holding a video conference on a motion for a protective order. Lively and Baldoni co-starred in the recent movie It Ends With Us, which he directed, she produced. In December, Lively filed a complaint accusing Baldoni of harassing her on set.
We have breaking news in the Justin Baldoni versus Blake Lively court case. A judge has ruled on the protective order. This is a big deal.
Wait, Blake Lively's attorneys are coming after us content creators now? You cannot be serious. Also, did you guys hear that?
Blake Lively is unraveling, throwing fits and acting out after a judge's unexpected ruling. But let's face it, she walked into this mess on her own. Now that the public is turning against her, even the judge couldn't find a single argument in her defense. Why? Because there wasn't one. For months, Lively orchestrated a textbook PR campaign, twisting the narrative to paint herself as the innocent party. She portrayed Baldwin as the antagonist, the source of the drama, the real issue. But the judge's stunning verdict completely destroyed that facade. It wasn't just a defeat, it was outright disgrace. Her case didn't just fall apart, it disintegrated. And the timing couldn't have been more brutal.
Women out there right now trying to make all of us who believe in Justin Baldoni, making us feel terrible, that we are women haters and anti-feminist and politicizing all of this in a sense that is just ridiculous. I feel like what Blake Lively has done has been the worst thing ever happening to the Me Too movement, because she coming forward like this and accusing a man of something that he obviously hasn't done, because we haven't seen any evidence yet. Another thing is, why haven't we seen any text messages from Blake Lively to someone else talking about how she felt traumatized in the moment? Where are those text messages? Why weren't they in the news?
The media had been circling for weeks, waiting for a moment like this, like predators sensing weakness, and the moment that ruling came down, it was an all-out frenzy. Instantly, the storyline flipped. No more sympathy for Blake. Now people were asking, what is she really hiding? Social media went into overdrive, and anyone who tried to support her was immediately overwhelmed by an avalanche of fierce criticism. This wasn't just a courtroom setback, it was a complete public takedown. Blake, the woman who had built her legacy on appearing effortlessly in control and poised, is falling apart, and she's not handling it well. Sources close to the situation say the breakdown happened immediately. They claim Blake Lively lost control, panicked, desperate, unraveling at a speed no one anticipated. The graceful, well-managed image she had spent years crafting completely collapsed, and this wasn't mild irritation, it was full-blown anger. Her PR team launched into emergency mode, scrambling to contain the damage, but the cracks were already too visible, and the entertainment industry wasn't convinced. Here's the real twist. This isn't just about one legal defeat anymore. The resentment had been quietly building for some time, but the judge's decision acted like a detonator. This wasn't merely a loss, it was a reckoning. For years, Blake basked in the spotlight as Hollywood's golden girl, always likable, always composed, but now, the facade is falling apart. What used to be quiet whispers are now loud conversations. Blake is no longer seen as a victim of bad PR. She's being portrayed as the one pulling the strings behind the scenes, someone who manipulated her image and influence to protect herself. And the numbers prove it. The second the verdict was released, the empire she spent years building started collapsing. Loyal fans began abandoning her in large numbers, and in just a few short months, her follower count dropped dramatically, faster than anyone could have predicted. Her hold on the entertainment industry is slipping quickly, and it's showing no signs of stopping. This isn't a temporary downturn. It's a mass exit, an unprecedented wave of people walking away from her brand, and with every new legal update, the fallout grows. Some tried to downplay it, calling it a momentary drop or rough patch, but the reality is clear. The damage is deep and lasting. Blake isn't just losing popularity, she's losing her standing in Hollywood. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni is experiencing a completely different story. As Blake's world unravels, his reputation is gaining traction. People who once dismissed him are going back and re-examining the facts, and suddenly, his side of the story seems more credible. Maybe he's been telling the truth all along, and the data supports that shift. The contrast between them is striking. For Blake, this is no longer a PR challenge. It's a full-on crisis, one that no polished statement or press appearance can repair.
I also want to make a really good point about Blake Lively, and I think a few people have said this, and I completely agree. Blake Lively hasn't yet realised that people don't really like celebrities anymore, and so you have to be exceptional, like exceptionally likable for people to like you as a celebrity. People tolerate celebrities, will watch movies, will listen to music, but unless you're extremely likable, we don't want to hear from you this much. And I think Blake is still stuck in the era of kind of around like Gossip Girl and like just coming out of Gossip Girl where A-list celebrities were the bee's knees and everyone was, you know, aware of what celebrities were doing, we were so interested, we were shipping celebrities, and now we have influencers and content creators that feel more related to us and like we're closer in status, if that makes sense, because a lot of them just started out as regular people and so don't really care about the lives of celebrities anymore. We don't want to hear what is your comfort blanket and like how you got yourself into this role of a woman that was DV'd and how your rings are your comfort. Like, no one cares, actually. And so when you go out of your way to be unlikable and treat people like shit, and you make everything about yourself and you lie about your co-stars, or you exaggerate, or you don't take the topic of the movie seriously and instead you make it all about yourself and your hair care line and this, you don't realize how unlikable you come across when people already are in an era of not caring about celebrities. And I think that's something that Blake Lively should like just miss the memo on that, because her and Ryan Reynolds were like the it couple for so long that she still thinks that we all care.
But here's where it gets even worse. This isn't just internet drama. Hollywood itself is backing away fast. The directors, producers, and studio execs who once viewed her as a guaranteed success are now treating her like a liability. Let's be real, Hollywood isn't driven by ethics. It doesn't care about who's right or wrong. It's all about money, influence, and public perception. And right now, Blake Lively is officially bad for business. Industry insiders are talking, and the chatter isn't in her favor. Every day, hesitation to work with her grows louder. No one wants to risk hiring an actress whose reputation is crashing in real time. Honestly, who wants to be linked to someone generating more headlines for controversy than actual career accomplishments? But this goes beyond just bad publicity. Hollywood is exhausted, fed up with her long-standing reputation as a control freak. Because this lawsuit isn't the whole story, it's just the ignition point. The real problem is the long-standing behavior that's been quietly ignored until now. The murmurs have been around for years, about how she takes over projects, overrides directors, rewrites scripts, and ensures she always stays in the spotlight. How she manipulates things behind the curtain to stay on top. How she twists narratives to benefit herself. And until recently, she got away with all of it. But this lawsuit tore the whole facade apart. Now no one can look away. This isn't just a legal situation anymore, it's personal. It's a full-scale reckoning. Blake isn't just battling it out in court. She's fighting to preserve her name, her career, and whatever remains of the carefully curated image she spent years building. And at the pace things are unraveling, that battle may already be lost.
We are seeing the downfall of Blake Lively before our very eyes.
This week, Blake Lively and her companies are under a lot of controversy because she decided to exploit domestic violence victims to promote her brands. And now the whole internet is doing a lot of deep dives to expose her past. And I want to talk about it today because I'm not sure why we're shocked that the woman who had a plantation wedding has had repeated rumored drama on all the sets she works on, gave Harvey Weinstein a pretty glowing review during his downfall, and much more we'll cover is surprisingly not that great of a person. Like, come on, Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds have always given like high school quarterback and head cheerleader who peaked in high school that were always like passive aggressively mean to you, but like had this nice branding person, like, oh, she's so nice, but she's not. Like, she'll just turn a corner and be so rude behind closed doors. And just like those two kids from your high school that eventually got married, never moved out, and never had to develop as people, they are so out of touch and they just don't care. There's a reason that a lot of times the characters she plays are just pretty rich, out-of-touch, socialite blonde women. It's because she also is not that great at, like, that's just who she is. He even admitted in an interview I found that she, like, can't form to roles, she has to form roles around her. Like, Miss Girl, that is not acting, that's just being yourself repeatedly. But for starters, yes, there's always been a lot of drama on sets that revolve around her throughout the years, starting with her co-star in Gossip Girl, Leighton Meester, who everyone always said that Leighton Meester was, like, the nicest person you've ever met. It's very much so noted that these two, despite playing best friends on TV and spending so many of their formative...
She was completely mistaken. If Blake thought showing up at film festivals and pretending nothing was wrong would salvage her reputation, she was dead wrong. And if she believed Hollywood would continue shielding her from the consequences, that couldn't be further from the truth. The judge's decision didn't just damage her legal standing, it nearly pulled the plug on a career already on life support. Now the real question is, just how much worse can it get? Because at the speed this is unfolding, we might be witnessing one of the most shocking Hollywood downfalls in recent memory. No amount of forced smiles or red carpet appearances can disguise that. And then, just when it seemed like things couldn't possibly sink any lower, they did. March 9, 2025, South by Southwest. Blake Lively walked the red carpet with the confidence of someone either oblivious to or in denial about the firestorm surrounding her. Her lawsuit with Justin Baldoni was spiraling into a very public disaster. Her reputation was crumbling. Her credibility, gone. Most people assumed she'd skip the event, stay out of sight, maybe lay low. But not Blake. She showed up, and that choice blew up in her face. Instead of taking a step back, she charged into the spotlight, determined to prove she was still in control. But this wasn't just a red carpet stroll, it was a statement. And instead of taking back power, she lost even more. The moment she stepped onto that carpet, the atmosphere changed. Normally, these events are electric, buzzing with lights, excitement, energy. But this one felt heavy off. The cameras flashed, but the magic was gone. Everyone there, journalists, fans, insiders, understood this wasn't just another premiere. This was Blake Lively trying to salvage her public persona. She smiled, she posed, she interacted with fans, but something was clearly off. That effortless charm she was known for vanished. Everything about her seemed stiff, mechanical. She looked like someone desperately holding onto an image of herself that no longer existed, hoping no one would see the cracks in the carefully curated persona. But they saw. And then came the moment when it all truly collapsed. As she continued past the cameras, keeping up the act, a protester broke through the crowd. One moment of chaos was all it took to destroy the illusion. The protester held up a sign reading, "Justice for Justin Baldoni." Blake lied. Gasps. Whispers. Flashing cameras. In a split second, the entire facade fell apart. The protester, later identified as YouTuber and cultural commentator Colonel CTS, stood at the edge of the chaos, unshaken, sending a clear message. Not everyone was there to celebrate. A public protest at a high-profile event would have been embarrassing on its own. But Blake's reaction made it worse. Instead of handling it with grace, she visibly flinched. Just for a second, but it was enough. The mask slipped. The cameras caught it. And the footage spread like wildfire. Within hours, every media outlet, from TMZ to Variety to Daily Mail, had it on blast. Her body language, her stiff smile, the tension in her face, it was all picked apart frame by frame, replayed endlessly across social platforms and news cycles. The headlines wrote themselves. Blake Lively faces protest amid legal scandal. South by Southwest red carpet erupts. Hollywood's golden girl falls from grace. But the night wasn't done unraveling. Enter Anna Kendrick. Blake's former co-star from A Simple Favor was also at the event. And if anyone expected a show of solidarity, they were in for a surprise. Kendrick kept her distance. No hug, no conversation, not even eye contact. In a town where silence speaks volumes, Anna's cold shoulder was deafening. When asked about Blake, Kendrick's reply was short, strained, and icy. "Oh, you know," she said, quickly shifting the topic. It was the kind of non-answer you give when you're avoiding the truth without outright lying. And the internet noticed. Comments poured in. "That's how you talk about an ex you still have to work with."
What does it mean to be back with Anna?
Oh, it's the best. I'm so happy. Like,
Anna, what does it mean to be working with Blake again?
oh, talking about so
Yeah, like so. Now the other thing I want to ask you: how do you feel like how does it feel like the movie's being impacted kind of by everything happening around going on in the world?
Why? What happened? I did ayahuasca, and the last year of my life is just gone. But I've heard the movie's amazing.
Wait, thank you.
One TikTok user summed it up perfectly. Girl couldn't even fake it. Another added, "Oh, you know is the new I'd rather not say." The clip went viral almost instantly, racking up millions of views within hours as people analyzed every second of the painfully awkward moment. And if Kendrick's brief comment didn't already signal something was off, her body language made it crystal clear. She kept a noticeable distance the entire night, so deliberate it couldn't be brushed off. In every group photo, she stood closer to Henry Golding, making a point not to be near Blake. When Blake stepped into the spotlight during interviews, Kendrick's face stayed frozen. No smile, no nod of support, no feigned enthusiasm, just a cold, emotionless stare that spoke louder than any words ever could. This wasn't just a lack of chemistry, it was a visible tension you could practically feel. And the truth is, this wasn't the first time whispers about friction between Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick had made their way into the spotlight.
What he's saying about Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick tonight. So if you've seen the videos, Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick are out promoting their new movie, Another Simple Favor. And Anna Kendrick is asked, "Anna, what is it like working with Blake Lively again?" And her answer is, "Oh, you know," as she's moving on and signing autographs, whatever. Everyone has pounced on this, because of course it makes it seem like she's not enjoying her time working with Blake Lively. And then there's another interview where Anna Kendrick is asked, how does it feel after this last year working with Blake Lively? And she pretends like she doesn't know what's gone on for the last year. Could we just consider the fact that Anna Kendrick is an actor who takes herself seriously, who enjoys working, this is her job, and now she knows, and she probably was not planning for this, but now she knows that her entire movie, her entire press experience, everything is about to be wrapped up and revolved around what's going on with Blake Lively. It's possible she loves Blake Lively. It's possible they get along great. It's also possible they don't, but I bet more than anything, as a working adult, she feels like, why is this my problem? Why is my movie now centered around this?
Blake Lively, after her biggest success, was just met with a lot of controversy, but now to make things worse, it's come out she feuded with Anna Kendrick. Blake Lively had one of the biggest hits of 2024 with It Ends With Us, which made $346 million on a budget of $25 million. The issue was Blake Lively didn't get along with her co-star, who's also the director of the movie, Justin Baldoni, and the two refused to do any press together. Blake Lively said that Baldoni didn't listen to any of her ideas and also got offended because he asked her wait. The only reason he asked her wait was because he has back issues and there was a scene he had to pick her up, and many who worked on set found Blake Lively was being annoying with the ideas. Now it's reported Blake Lively had another issue making the 2018 movie A Simple Favor, which was a success, making $98 million on a budget of $25 million, but she didn't get along with Anna Kendrick. It was reported they were both pretty mature, where Anna Kendrick demanded to show her cleavage in the poster to distract people from Blake Lively. And the two didn't have a good relationship on set, which is why they didn't do many interviews marketing the movie together. Now, strangely enough, after years of saying they wouldn't do a sequel together, they just announced they will be making a sequel to Simple Favor. Many are accusing Blake Lively of doing just to escape the Justin Baldoni complaints. Hey, it got fans a sequel, and with that, I'm Charles Farrell. Please subscribe to learn something.
But this time, no one needed whispers or speculation, they saw it unfold in real time. Rumors of a behind-the-scenes feud between Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick had floated through the industry for years, but now, with a lawsuit dominating headlines and every lens focused on their interactions, those quiet murmurs erupted into full-blown chatter. Kendrick's short, dry "oh, you know" wasn't just awkward, it was classic Anna, deadpan, deliberately vague, and completely unmissable. But the real turning point came when Variety asked the question everyone was waiting for: had the Blake controversy impacted the film's release? It was inevitable. Anyone with experience in the spotlight would have had a well-prepared, diplomatic response ready to go.